What's wrong, Kellen?
I hate my life.
Did we lose 20 minutes of filming?
No, I don't know.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Press X Podcast, episode 134, your weekly podcast for gaming news and opinions coming at you each and every Monday. I'm Kevin McManus. With me, Kellen Williard.
Hey.
Nick Hassell.
Feeling a sense of deja vu right now.
Nothing happened. It's all right. We just filmed for about 20 minutes and lost the audio. And by lost the audio, I mean didn't record the audio.
You have to turn it on, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm just the worst. But that's okay, because now I get to talk about Mega Man for another 20 minutes, guys. Isn't this exciting?
No.
So let's move into what we've been playing, and I guess I'll start with the Mega Man X Legacy Collection, Volume 1. So I'm going to do a super quick rundown of these so that I don't go through my whole spiel again. I'm sorry, guys.
So we don't die live on
You
camera?
guys might just get up and leave.
Thought about it.
But anyway, replayed all of them, platinumed all of them. You have to basically 100% them and do some little tasks to get the platinum. Very difficult platinum to get, but I muscled through it, even though there was definitely some that I thought were not unfair, but just not fun to do. There's a stealth level in particular where you have to go through the whole level without getting spotted by something, and I'm like, this is just not how I want to play a Mega Man game at all.
In a suit with a big gun that's like this big?
Yes.
You're supposed to like get spotted?
There's like these searchlights that are going all over the level, and if one sees you, it like alerts the security and they come after you. But whatever. Replayed Mega Man X. Didn't like it as much as I thought I would. I think part of the reason is last time that I played the game, I played it on the PlayStation 2. It was on the Anniversary Collection, and the Anniversary Collection actually ran the games better. It's similar to how the games run better on PS3 emulation than they do if you play the original hardware. So it removed all the slowdown and a lot of the problems that you just don't notice until you go back and play the original. And these emulate them exactly how they would play on their original hardware. So with X1, I was surprised, well, X1 through 3 at least, I was surprised at the amount of slowdown that the games actually had, way more than I thought, and I that's one of the dings against Mega Man 3, is that there's a lot of slowdown. Kellen played it, there definitely is a lot of slowdown, huh?
Sure.
Do you remember that at all, or no?
I try not to.
You try to repress that memory? Yeah, there's a lot of slowdown in Mega Man 3, but I don't think it's remotely close to X in particular. But you just feel very underpowered throughout all of these games because you upgrade your character as you play. You find a lot of secrets. So every level has a health upgrade. There's armor upgrades that make you take less damage. There's gun upgrades that let you like supercharge your gun and do all way more damage. There's leg upgrades that let you kind of double jump and dash in the air. So you're constantly upgrading your characters if you're looking and backtracking and going to all these areas. And I feel like the game had trouble balancing itself between exploration and the backtracking and all that stuff, as well as just being a classic Mega Man game. And I felt like they struggled to kind of find that balance. So when you start a lot of these games, you feel very underpowered. You take a lot of damage in X3. You can die very easily on the opening levels. You're, to give an example, I think you have 17 points of health in X3, and the final boss hits for 16. So, like, if you didn't level anything or, like, find stuff throughout that game, you're just going to get destroyed on that final boss. And I feel like that's just a kind of running theme between X through X3. In particularly with the exploration, a lot of the stuff that you find is hidden by dead, like, pits that if you fall down, you die. Spikes that you can tell something might be up there, but you're not sure if you want to try it, because if you hit the spike, you're going to die. And then if you die, you have to restart the entire level over again. And then you get back to that point, and you're like, I don't know if I even want to try to get this again, because if I fail again, I'm going to have to redo the whole level again. So I feel like they just didn't age as well. When you're, a kid, that's the only game you have. You got it for Christmas or whatever, and you have months to beat it. That's not a problem, because that's how they added not replay value, but that's how they made games long. They made them difficult. They punished you a lot. And nowadays, that's just not how games work. And I think they remedied all of that with X4. X4 added a checkpoint system where halfway through the level you get a checkpoint. So if you die, you start at that checkpoint, and it really helps you do your exploration, because you're like, oh, I'm going to try it. Oh, I died. Now I get to start midway through the level, and I can just get back there in a timely fashion. It didn't feel like you were super punished, so it made you want to explore. It made you want to find all of these upgrades and things, because, like I said, you don't get super punished for it. So I really think X4 is the standout of the original 4 and probably of the whole series as far as I understand. Haven't hopped into X5, X6, X7, X8, but as I remember them, 5 is good, 6 is good, but has a lot of like not fun like RNG mechanics going on in it. 7 is god-awful, and I haven't played 8, so... I'm probably not going to end up platinuming Volume 2 that has those particular games. I also do want to talk really quickly about the boss rush mode because it's interesting. They added a boss rush mode to it, but you fight 2 bosses at once. And they tried to pick bosses that kind of complement each other. So, like, there's one boss that's huge that runs into a wall, and then there's another boss that has these like wind effects that if you're like trying to hide up on the wall, it'll pull you down. So it'll pull you down into the huge guy that kind of guards the wall. So they picked ones that kind of complement each other. You can play through it on easy and basically get through it, but when you play it on normal or God forbid hard, it is a really difficult, like you have to master the mechanics of that game to be able to do it. And it's kind of neat because you actually fight 2 enemies, and then the next level's 2 enemies, and the next level's 2 enemies, and that's like considered one fight basically. So you don't like your health doesn't replenish or anything between those fights, and you get to pick 3 weapons from the series to bring in with you for those fights. So you got to be like careful with the weapons that you pick. I thought that was kind of a cool system. But as a collection, it's really good. It, like I said, emulates the games exactly how they were played. So if you remember it having slowdown on this one jump, it's still going to have slowdown, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I think that X4 is the one that really stands out in the collection in particular. With that said, I also checked out No Man's Sky, the No Man's Sky update. We were talking about how that game's reviews are starting to come back into the more positive. I believe it's in the mixed category now.
Yeah, there was that tweet that he put out where it's like we in the mixed review.
I like that he's having fun with his people's reaction.
Through all the dark somber nights where he's probably drank alone.
Yeah, I like that he's poking some fun back. But they seem to have really turned the game around. People are really enjoying it. I know IGN's like re-reviewing the game and stuff, so they're getting their second chance, their second launch. Really smart to launch it on Xbox with this update. Kind of get a whole bunch of people talking and going. It's in the top like most played games on Steam right now. I know that their player base is obviously significantly bigger than it was before this update, and it's a free update. I like that you can play in third person. I like that they added infinite building for, or near infinite building, I believe they call it, for bases and things like that. You can actually see other players and party up, but you can also attack them like pirates and just go into space and kill people. And they were like, yeah, for people who like didn't want that, like there was NPCs that did that to you already in the game, and now it's just that might be a player instead of an NPC. So I think that's really neat, and I'm glad that they're having more success. I have a group that's ready to play it, but our schedules are all screwed up, and we can't find a good time to actually all hop in.
I'm really glad I waited on this game. Not that I was like, oh, one day they'll fix it. I just like, no, I'm not playing this half version because I feel like the game that I imagined is where it's at now. So
interesting.
I'm glad I just left it alone, and I can pick it up.
Yeah,
I'm at the turn of the year or something.
I'm excited to hop back into it. I really liked that game even at launch, and I feel like they've only added and haven't taken away, which is nice. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I liked it at launch too, but I saw some of the problems with it.
I see I definitely saw like the repetitious worlds. Like sometimes you get to 2 planets that are very similar to each other.
It's like there's one difference: the sky's purple.
Yeah, but
ooh, I like that one more.
At the same time, the ability to fly from one planet to another and land and be like, man, this planet sucks. I'm just going to fly to another planet.
I'll just go somewhere. I don't have to be here, yeah.
Yeah, and they also added a survival mode that is probably how we're going to play it, where you're just like, you basically have one life. And you just try to live as long as you can, and then you land on a planet that's like lava, and you're just like, well.
It's made a huge, tiny mistake.
It's been fun. Besides that, I also hopped into Dark Cloud. I've been chipping away at that. Dark Cloud 2, hit Chapter 4. There's 6 chapters, so I'm getting there. We talked about bucket list games. This is one of my bucket list games to finish, to beat, and I'm getting there. The Enemies are like on par with my combat skills right now, so it's not frustrating like it used to be. It's still challenging. It's not just like I kill everything in a couple hits. I still have to be thoughtful. Like the enemies that are weak to a wrench, I need to use a character that has a wrench, and enemies that are weak to a sword, I have to like still swap my characters on the fly and actually get their weaknesses. It's not like I can just run around and hit everything and they die instantly. Around that part of the game is where you can do a trick where you invent something, basically by taking pictures of anything in the world, and you can combine these pictures and make different stuff. And there's I think it's a turkey sandwich that you can make that sells for like 200 gold, and it costs 90 gold to make. So you can just keep cycling that, get your money up.
It must be a hell of a turkey sandwich.
Yeah, it's a hell of a sandwich.
Yeah, buy whatever upgrades or whatever things you need for your town, and money won't be a problem. And I'm almost at that point, so I'm very excited to get there. But yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of chugging through Dark Cloud 2. Very excited to finish that. And then I've been playing Octopath Traveler, and I'm gonna.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass it to you because I'm pretty sure you have 7 times the amount of hours.
I don't like math, so I won't figure that
In the
part
game,
out. Yeah, I think I
He's not
hit.
far off.
I think I hit like 85 this week.
Oh, you slowed down.
Yeah, I slowed down from my 70 in week 1. Basically, like you were just talking about Dark Cloud, how you hit a level where combat is even because you've been struggling. Well, I'm the flop of that, I guess. I'm on the part where enemies, I mean, not that the combat's ever been dull or boring, but it's been fairly easy, even boss fights, just because I feel like I've got a cheap character and I've grinded a lot and I'm overpowered. But I finally hit the point in the game where I'm fighting like sub-bosses of like dungeons and stuff like that, and it's one of those where like I've died like multiple times and had to reload a save and go back and grind it and come back to him. So
I die all
like
the time.
I have to like
You're playing the game wrong.
yeah.
What do you mean?
So I have to like focus now and like really be on my A game and use items and think like strategically and think ahead, and just like it's almost a different game now because not to say it was easy, but I was rewarded for a lot of patience and grinding and building characters and thinking about, how do I match classes up and stuff like that. Like I really thought through all that. So the reward is, kind of breezing through a lot of the enemies. But now it's just like, it doesn't matter that you're 10 levels above me. I'm just going to crush you. And it's just like, oh, okay, well, this game's hard now. So I hit that point.
I did the level 20 thing as a level 60, and I died like 15 times. So
Wow.
I don't understand what you're talking
That's
about.
amazing.
That's why I told you to get items or better stuff, but it sounded like you were
I
starting to
have
buy stuff.
Better
I have
gear.
better stuff. That's not the problem. The problem is I don't have a lot of weaknesses for things. Like I have a dagger and a bow and a
Because
dark
you're playing with
magic,
2 classes. Yeah.
and I have a spear.
'Cause you only
So
put
if
two.
they ain't weak to one of those 4 things, it's not happening.
You don't have a true damage class or a healer, so
Correct. A lot of my turns are spent reviving my teammate and healing my teammate, and then they just knock them out
They
again.
just die again.
Yeah, it's not great.
but I think I'm
Still having fun though.
I'm at the last chapter for all of the characters. I've been knocking them out like steadily. I haven't just like finished one, then finish one, then finish one. I'll just get them all to the same point. Whole map is unlocked. Right now I'm just kind of exploring, going through the side quests, which I thought most of those were just like, hey, go find my grandpa, or like,
How'd
hey,
you lose your grandma? Don't worry.
there's an
about
old
it.
man wandering around, so I was
He's
like,
not
follow
wrong.
me.
There is an old man just like, where? I don't
So
know
I
where he is.
had Primrose kind of like shake her hips and was like, come with me. It's like, okay. And we guided him back. And then there's other stuff like go collect this or whatever. So there's a little bit of fetch quests, a little bit of like think outside the box, almost like puzzles. So I've been doing most of that. Did one, then it took me to like a level 50 boss, and I was just like, oh, okay, so this isn't easy anymore. So that's where I had to put on my
Was it
thinking.
a Kraken?
Nope.
Oh.
That one wasn't fun, though.
He
It
killed
was
me a
fun.
lot.
It just wasn't easy. But yeah, this random spikes of difficulty. Just because everything else, like when you're walking into an area, it'll say warning or danger level 50, 45. Like these don't say that unless they make you go fight something that's in an area. But like when you're loading up the side quests or going to talk to the guy, it doesn't say, hey, you might want to be like on your A game here instead of just kind of dicking around with your lowest level characters. But yeah, I'm doing that. I'm trying to get most, if not all, of the side quest stuff done and treating each person's final chapter as like, the end of their story and then like take them back to their town and just kind of trying to treat it like a storybook, I guess, like the happily ever after, if anyone has that in the game. And just doing it that way so I can kind of finish side stuff and main stuff at the same time. Maybe there's like post-game stuff to do, I don't know, and go from there. Probably wrap it up within this week, I would imagine.
How have you been playing this game, Kellen? We talked about I'm doing the Merchant Primrose duo
Terrible.
adventure because they were the
Sounds
only two characters
awful.
I actually really liked. Nick's going through kind of everybody evenly and
Trying to platinum it.
basically. What are you doing? How's your story unfolding?
A lot like Nick's. I use pretty much everybody. Depends on what I'm doing. But I have like a main 3. I have 2 that I always have with me. Because one you have to always have with you.
Right.
There's 2 that you always have with me. A third one that's usually with me. And then my 4th spot rotates based on what I need or what I'm doing.
I just pretend that I don't know the other people. Like, I'll run into a chest, and it's like, you can't open this. I'm like, I guess it's not openable.
You need to
I don't know a single person who can open it.
I'll never be able to get into the
I'll
purple
just keep
chest
moving.
again.
I do that a lot. I just pretend nobody else exists in my story.
That's terrible.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know how you beat things.
I use Primrose's bewitching ability or whatever it's called.
The bewildering
Her hex
dance
thing.
So the
Oh,
RNG ability?
Yeah, and I just kill everything or I die. And
I mean, I use
that's-
that. I use that for the experience multiplier. That's about it.
That's my strategy for the game.
That's wonderful.
I just keep spamming that.
Sounds like you're just playing a casino game at this
I
point, like
very
slots.
much,
or
I very
something.
much am.
Usually with any group of 4, I can cover almost every
Oh,
weakness.
Oh yeah,
Well,
yeah. If you have a group of 4, you can for sure. I just don't.
But
What's wrong with you?
in the games, you have subclasses, so you can make the cleric and the warrior basically combine. You can have a cleric warrior,
Yeah.
and
Captain Planet.
so on and so forth. I guess, yeah. But there's also 4 hidden, I guess, hidden subclasses that are just like your god mode. If you can beat that boss and then put that class on someone, you are like amazing. And I finally went through and barely beat all 4 of those, so I have the superpowers now for the most part. So I'm back to feeling at the point where I'm stronger than most everything that I fight now. I just had to like grind that way past basically the gatekeepers of all the strong abilities. So
Yeah, I really like the game, and like I'm playing it as I wasn't sure how I was gonna play it when I got it. If it was gonna be like a sit down, play this for multiple hours, like, you know, really in depth on the TV, whatever, or if it was going to be my like passive play on the go type game. And it's definitely my passive play on the go type game, but I never feel like I'm missing out playing it like that. Like it seems like it's really good, well suited for either situation. And we talked about last week if we thought it would be coming to like PlayStation 4 or Xbox One or anything. I don't remember what I said, but I was thinking about it earlier. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think it's a Switch
No,
game.
I don't think it's anywhere.
well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I wouldn't enjoy it more on anything else aside from PC, which might have mods. That's the only way I could like enjoy it more, because I feel like
4K.
I mean, I guess. But like it just feels like the perfect kind of game. Like, oh, gotta go catch the train or something like that, and you can play it on the go, or you can just play it docked. I don't really feel like one's better than the other, which for most Switch games so far, I feel like I've definitively had one way or the other.
I agree with that, especially for non-Nintendo games. Like third-party Switch games, there's almost always
It seems to
an
favor
answer, and
one.
it's almost always docked.
Yeah.
Have you been playing anything else besides Octopath? That's it.
That's it. I literally don't have time for anything else.
I mean, I
That's fair.
completely understand.
Completely fair.
Kellen, it's been a while since you've been on here. What else have you been playing besides the Octopaths?
A lot of Octopath.
Yep.
Last week was a lot of Octopath. Siege still. I'm nearing 300 hours in Siege. That game's real good because I still play it a lot. I've finally finished Final Fantasy 15. Like,
Oh, can you real quick about Siege? What
What?
was your story about poking the bear with the with the new
Siege,
policy?
the new ban.
Yeah.
So I was in the party with 3 of the idiots I play Siege with, and we were all about to be done. It was like 3 a.m. Like, I'm like, I gotta sleep. And we decided, all right, we're gonna test this this chat ban system, see how fast it is. So we all type different bullshit that we know will get banned. And the first guy types, he was like, it had nothing happen. Oh, there it goes. It literally bans you within 10 seconds.
That's
or if
crazy.
not faster. And it tells everybody in the game, probably, or at least in your room, this person's been banned for toxic behavior. And so the first time it happened, everybody's just like, what the fuck? And then the second time it happened, everybody just presses F. Press F to pay respects. And then the third time, we're like, what the hell are y'all doing? I'm like, I wonder what happens if I type this and I get banned. That was the fourth one. We just want to see how quick it was.
So is that like a problem that you've run into playing that game, that people are being toxic? Or
not really, especially because it's only in typing, but you still can put a headset on and just yell
say
and be obnoxious.
You want. Yeah.
It's more funny than anything because it's like the first one's like a 27-minute. It says 30-minute, but it's 27 minutes, I think. It's more entertaining than anything.
I just remember bringing up. I was like, "Oh, they brought this banning thing," and you're like, "Yeah, I already got banned once."
I did, within like a day or two. We had to test it. We were typing in stuff like, "What if we just misspell the word?" Like, "Oh, it doesn't catch that." You just type it differently, like switch two
Usually
letters.
in those types of games, like the further competitive you go, if like you're playing the super pro mode, then that's where the people get usually more toxic. But I'm sure you hit them everywhere.
So Final Fantasy 15. What are you feeling about that? How was that game?
That game's really good. It's a little depressing. That's why I took a break from it.
Yeah.
But other than that, the game's really good. I'm looking forward to, I think it's later this year. They're doing like the revamped ending or second half.
I think they have more chapters.
Are they just adding to it?
I think they're doing, what's her name, Luna?
Luna, yeah.
I think Luna's getting her own chapter, and like, did you do any of the side chapters or whatever?
Not yet.
Episodes,
I have the episode Gladiolus. Yeah, and I have them, but I just hadn't played them yet. I finished the main game. It still took me like 45 hours.
Yeah,
and there's still a lot of stuff I didn't do that I wanted to do.
How was, and this is gonna be weird because you didn't play it beforehand, and I haven't seen it afterhand. Yeah. How was Chapter 13?
It was fine.
Did it strike you as it was changed at all, or did it was there anything weird about it to you?
It fit pretty well from what I could tell.
Okay, because that's the one everybody complained about.
Was that the long hallway?
Yeah, that was the chapter that I liked.
I mean, the chapter made sense because you spend the whole game with your friends, and then all of a sudden they get taken away from you. So
you're
go
by
to find
yourself,
them.
so it's strange. But
to be fair, I was kind of over leveled. Like I finished the game at like level 70 or something, so I had no problems being by myself.
That particular chapter,
because I also found all the armor weapons, so I could just turn that on and murder stuff. Like
that, like Chapter 13 to me had like a survival horror feeling to it.
It definitely did because it's a very dark, and you're going through not a dungeon, but
there's like some like jump
base.
Scary things in it too.
Like the guys on the ground, because the first one of those scared the piss out of me. Yeah, I didn't know it was coming.
Okay, so I was just curious how much they changed of it, if you could tell if it was changed or anything.
I didn't have a problem with it. Like it seemed to fit the game. It was
long?
Definitely different. No.
Okay, see, that was a big complaint. Like I like Chapter 13
just the pacing
for
of
like 20 minutes, and then
the
next like 50 minutes, I was like, I'm pretty over this.
Yeah, the one time it did seem long is when you get to where you need to go and you're just like, you fell down. You fall down like 100 floors. Like, okay, that was fucking stupid. Like, come on, guys. Other than that, I didn't have a problem with that level.
Okay, I was just curious if it felt like they redid it or not.
I really don't know how they would have changed it. So.
But
I'd like a free window of time to play it because obviously we played it when it came out, and I'd like to see what they've done.
And it's very different now. You can swap characters and stuff too.
In your tree, your upgrade tree, there's one where it just says if you unlock this, switch to Gladiolus. If you unlock this, switch to
you can play as the other.
You can just swap.
I'm hoping there's a down period like next year where
I'm just waiting
more
for
of these
them
chapters
to
are out.
Release the actual complete edition.
Yeah.
Like Mario Kart, where 2 years later they're like, hey, we added stuff to the game.
A lot of stuff
what are you doing? Have you played anything else?
Mostly that stuff. That's about it. I know Siege and Wildlands are about to have some crossover thing. I'll probably look into that because I still have Wildlands. I played a little bit of Wildlands last week because I stumbled into the Predator mission.
Yeah.
The mission based on the first Predator movie, and I was like, I kind of have to do
I think their crossovers are cool, even though
they have been so far.
Zero interest
like
in
the
game.
Sam Fisher thing was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly that stuff. Mostly Octopath, though. That damn game.
To be fair, that's like 2 100-hour RPGs and an online multiplayer, so...
Yeah, I mean, that's whenever you're playing an RPG like that, it's obviously going to eat away at your time. Or if you're playing those living world games of service games, those also eat into your time. So when those are the only two games you're playing,
the things I play constantly,
you just don't have any extra.
I need to finish Final Fantasy. Octopath.
All right, let's move into the news. So this first bit of news is about Amazon Prime. So Amazon Prime, UK specifically, they gave out emails to everybody that was subscribed to them and said that their incentive discount, whatever they call it, for pre-ordering games on Amazon Prime is ending August 7th. So this is a UK exclusive thing right now. Very interesting. Very interesting. So we know that the Best Buy Gamers Club Unlocked deal is dead unless you have it. Like, once it expires, it's gone. And if you didn't get it, you can't get it now. And now it seems like Amazon UK is getting rid of their pre-order incentive, albeit theirs is less than ours here. But still, they're getting rid of their incentive for pre-orders. Do we think that the American one's going to follow suit? What's happening? Why is this happening?
I don't know. We spent a good 20-minute segment probably on it, not over a month ago, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Talking about what does this mean? Why is the Sony mad? All this background information. We just don't know anything. I think my best case scenario is that it does go away, which is fine, whatever, and Sony comes back to Amazon. That's my dream scenario if it has to leave. Because I don't want to go to storefronts to pick stuff up. I want it dropped off reliably at my house, and Amazon has been good to me so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No complaints.
Didn't you screw up your 3DS from Amazon?
3DS? No.
Yeah. Didn't you get a Majora's Mask 3DS or something? A Zelda 3DS?
No, that was Best Buy.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Wrong one.
Yeah, so
that was a snowstorm. So.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It was just weird because I got mine. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
I live on a hill.
Yeah, so I think that this is going to go away. I think that it's going to be one of those things where in 3 weeks they announce it, and then within a week it's gone, and they just don't talk about it, unfortunately. It does suck. The Best Buy deal was insane because you were getting $28, I think, off of everything if you were doing it correctly. And the Amazon one was good. You get your 20% off. But yeah, I'm the opposite. The shipping only thing scares me because I don't know if I'm going to get it that day. So for Best Buy, I would always do it and do shipping. Mm-hmm. And then if it was something I knew I really wanted or I knew I was going to have time to play that day or whatever, I would do the store pickup and I'd just go grab it because it's 15 minutes away and whatever. But yeah, I also think that it's going away and we're just not going to be told why. And I do is Sony pulling straight? I can't imagine that any game publisher or company would be mad at them for doing this because it feels like it's eating out of Amazon's pocket and eating out of Best Buy's pocket and not the actual game studios at all because they just buy it for probably the price that they're selling it for and they're probably just selling it for that price and then they're going maybe they'll buy some light bulbs from us too and we'll make money on that.
They'll want to pack up batteries.
Yeah.
So and then stuff like Prime Day rolls around where you're needlessly spending money, so they'll get you some way or another. They raise Amazon Prime prices
every year.
So
every year,
pretty much
just $10 more, $10 more.
And I still spend enough that I pay for it every year.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Yeah, no,
way more than
it's still a good deal, and especially if you do the Twitch Prime where they're just giving you all these free games and stuff. It's really cool. But I would be surprised if by the end of September it's still going on. So I'd say get in your pre-orders now if you have the service.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going away. I like it though. I used it a lot. I never even signed up for the Best Buy thing. I'd rather just Amazon bring it to me because I've never had a problem with Amazon.
Yeah.
I tried to sign up for Best Buy's thing and they screwed it up. So
I remember. Yeah. See, I thought you had it, which is why I was like, oh, it's going away, whatever. And you said something about it, and I was like, well, you have it. And you're like, no, I don't.
I bought it. They just could never activate it. So I was just I was so mad that I just left it alone.
Gotcha.
Fair enough.
So some Best Buy guy, CEO, was sitting with my $30 in his pocket.
We really got him. Next up, in news that I know me and Nick are at least excited over, Guacamelee 2 got a new trailer, and when it's coming out, August 21st, right in time for my birthday. I think they knew. They're like, when's his birthday? We'll put out this Guacamelee 2.
Or they're like, what's the rest of this year? August.
Let's get this out.
Well, last year, the Uncharted team at Naughty Dog contacted me personally, and we're like, what's your birthday? We're going to release this Lost Legacy on it so you can play it on your birthday. And I was like, oh, thank you guys so much. So
I don't think any of that happened.
That is
I believe some of it.
Anyway, Guacamelee 2 coming PC, PS4, August 21st. Very excited for this. I think it's interesting. I feel like this is an example of them knowing that the game's going to do how the game's going to do, and they probably know it's good, and they're just like, here it is, whatever, you know. Also, Sony's been very good recently about their release dates. Like, they haven't been announcing release dates for stuff like anything more than 3 months ahead, because I think they're tired of people always being like, oh, you delay everything that you announce, blah, 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 blah. So it seems like they're being very careful about
to be fair, I don't think a game
things.
like Guacamelee should have to worry about delays, but...
Sure, but I just mean, like, they also announced the release date for Astro Bots, the VR game that I'm super excited for, that there was a demo for in the Playroom, and that's coming out October. And that's actually technically a first-party game. Like, they're just seemingly very careful about their release dates. Days Gone, they took forever before they announced their release date. They didn't announce, like, any release dates at E3. Like, they just seem to be very careful about it, which is good. I'd rather have it like that. Especially because of this next bit of news. So Germany has banned pre-orders that don't have release dates. So this is a new thing that I guess they're doing. Basically, they said that when a customer orders goods on the internet, the provider must tell when those goods would be provided, or else you're just not allowed to do it. So you're not allowed to put up a game for pre-order that has no release date. No, there's no tangible time period that you're going to get this game. How do we feel about that?
I'm fine with it. Makes sense to me.
I agree. Do you think that like hurts pre-orders, or do you think that's gonna? I mean, it's only Germany right now, so it's not like that big of a deal. But let's say it was like a worldwide thing. Yeah. Do you think that would hurt pre-orders, or do you think that would like help? Do you think that would make?
I think that would hurt
publishers put fake dates on
I think
things?
it would. Well, yeah, that too. Get back to more of the February 2019 and 2020. You're like, where is this? But
the old Final Fantasy.
I think
you're late.
I think this hurts like the GameStops of the world more than the Amazons of the world.
Oh, where you walk in the door and they're like, hey, pre-order this. Hey, pre-order.
Hey, you want to pre-order the next Call of Duty?
But you have to put the money down immediately, whereas like an Amazon doesn't charge you until like it ships or whatever when it's being processed.
That's true.
So I think that's the only big person that would get hit by it, which I'm fine with, whatever. I like the idea of them saying, I feel like it's almost like a push towards the industry and saying like, hey, quit doing this.
Quit being dumb.
Yeah, it just feels weird just to kind of get money out of something with no real promise, I guess.
I agree.
So
I don't know if we've talked about it before, but like our stances on pre-orders. Are you pro pre-order, against pre-order, don't care? What's your opinion on it?
If it's a pre-order, then I want a reward for it, and not a reward as in like you get this
weapon.
You get a keychain?
You get 5 levels experience or something, so you get to start off the game like faster. And I don't like you get this cool in-game sword, because that usually means you can use it from like the first like 30 minutes of the game, and then you find something more powerful that looks stupid compared to like a flaming sword.
You want like a theme?
Yeah, like, so I guess in today's world of like PS4 and Xboxes, like give me a cool dynamic theme, maybe like a gamer picture or something like that looks
like
cool.
An avatar.
Something like that. And like if it's like a Call of Duty or
like
something, like
thank you, Shadow of the Colossus.
Like MMOs do it pretty well, where you get like a status, like a founder status, like you were there from day one.
Yeah, that's
so
cool.
Like Call of Duty, like give me a nameplate or something that no one else can get or buy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like the type of stuff that you can enjoy the entire time, and it's not going to be replaced by something.
And it's not like gameplay.
So like if you went back to the old days, like the flaming helmet from Halo 3.
Oh, those are awesome.
Like if you got something like that, like you're always gonna have it, and you're never gonna switch off of it. So.
Yeah, I really like Uncharted as far as like multiplayer games go. Uncharted gave you a skin for your gun, so you can put on any gun, and it was gold.
Yeah,
and that was kind of their thing. So I kind of agree. My stance on pre-orders is that I typically, like, there's the whole wait for the reviews. The game could be bad. I typically pre-order it with the utmost intention that I will cancel it if I need to. Like, that's kind of my thought. Like, yeah, I'm pre-ordering it. I know that a lot of companies actually rely on pre-order numbers and stuff to see if they need to pump more into marketing or what. Yeah. So, like, they do use pre-orders. So I like to pre-order to show them that I'm interested, but it's not a guarantee. It's, here, I'm interested. keep me going, whatever, or I'm going to be mad. Now, with that said, Nintendo doesn't do like any pre-order incentives typically. They give me a coin for Mario Odyssey, I guess, but they don't typically do pre-order incentives. Yeah. I like having something physical as my pre-order thing, whether it's I don't know, a Morgana plushie or whatever they want to give me for their pre-order bonus, and then I'll almost always pre-order collector's editions if that's a thing.
Well, you have to.
Those actually run out, unlike the regular versions of the games. How about you, Kellen? How do you feel about pre-orders?
Yeah, I like pre-orders on limited stuff like collector's editions. That I usually like to see something that kind of thing with numbered. Like this is one of however many.
Absolutely.
And then usually anything I pre-order is something I'm definitely buying, so I can pre-order it and just forget it. Like I don't do it to show interest. It's like I'm buying this game, good or bad. It's something I want.
Yeah.
So I can just pre-order it and forget it. And if it turns out to be awful, I do all my pre-orders on Amazon, so I can just turn my phone on and cancel it.
Yeah, that's what I
part
like.
of the reason I do Amazon.
That's what I like about the not charge until
I love
that's
Amazon.
the best part.
That's why Amazon pre-orders sell out. Like a lot of people are like, oh, the Switch sold out in 5 minutes on Amazon. It's like, yeah, because nobody actually has to buy it.
Yeah, you don't
like
have to put money into
you're
it.
literally locked into nothing.
Yeah,
you're just saying maybe.
I like that as far as like yes, I am committed to buying this. Contingent upon it just
actually
not being ass.
Yeah,
right.
So if it meets my expectations,
and then
I will
if
pay
something
you.
popped up and said, hey, it's time for us. We're gonna process it tomorrow. Do you still want to pay? And yep, I do.
Right.
Versus, I don't want to drive back to GameStop across town where I already put like $25 on this. This is annoying. Blah blah. And you have some guy calling you, hey, you $25 is due on the game.
This is Kevin at
coming out.
GameStop.
It's
Your
like,
Halo 3 will be tomorrow.
yeah, so it's just that's just really annoying to put up with. So yeah, I like the system that's in place now. And if they want to say, you can't physically put money down, if you can just say like almost like subscribe to buying it.
This is like an IOU. It's like, yeah, I'll give you money for that. When it comes
Yeah,
out.
basically.
If you can still do that, show interest in it. So maybe someone the scale of like Octopath, because obviously they ran into the problem where they didn't have enough units, it felt like, to meet the demand.
Yeah.
But if they could have
I think what happened is the game came out and it was better than people thought it would be, and then a bunch of people went to the store to go buy it. I think Shadow of the Colossus actually had a similar problem.
Yeah.
But if they could if studios that size or those projects that size could use something like that to go like, oh, there's 10 million people that pre-ordered this thing. We should print more copies.
We've only made 1,000.
So I think that's a good use of it. But yeah, if you don't have all that money sitting there ready to go and then them just be like last minute, like, oh, we got to move it. Or, IGN gave it a 5 or something like that, then...
That's a topic I want to do at some point, is like games that we bought that we kind of regretted or didn't like as much. But we'll do that for another day. I will say one time GameStop called me and I was very happy because they're like, hey, there is a Pit Amiibo here and the guy never came to pick it up. Do you want it? And I was like, I sure do. I'll be there in an hour.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, the guy that called me and said, hey, we actually did end up getting another Persona 5 Collector's Edition. Like he probably just heard... like me peeling out of my driveway. I was like, I'll be there. Don't worry about it. And that was at like 10:30 at night.
Well played.
Next up,
Good man.
Nintendo is cracking down on ROM sites. So specifically, Loves Retro, which is a website that apparently no longer exists, and Loves ROMs.
Was retro?
Yeah, and Loves ROMs.
No,
which
that's cracking down.
apparently
They just wiped them out.
is a website that no longer has Nintendo ROMs on it.
Ah.
So Nintendo said that the lawsuit requests damages that could reach into the $100 million range if the titles were counted. More likely, the size of the damages and injunctions requested are meant to close down the sites rather than get any other recovery damages. So I forget exactly how much they're asking for, but I think it was like $150,000 per game on their site. So they have a full library of all of these games. They're kind of
like you got 600
people
games.
see that price tag, they're probably clicking close and shut this baby down.
So interesting. Apparently, they've shut down another ROM site like last year or something like that. And now they're just going after them. What do we think about this? Do we think this is? I don't want to say good or bad. What's your opinion on ROMs? How do you feel about them?
I feel like not enough is being done to put, like, in their case, like a virtual console.
Right. Okay.
Like, if you had that, then we wouldn't need the ROMs, obviously, or just people just don't want to pay for it, so they want
Right.
the free version. But
Yeah, well, so you're kind of in the camp of I can't buy this anyway, so who cares?
yeah.
I can't get it any other way, so
Type thing. I can't get it in any way that would pay Nintendo.
Yeah,
basically.
I wish they would take that $150 million damages and put that into Virtual Console.
Sure.
be
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, there's all those licensing problems
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which is an issue. Yeah, I'm a fan of definitely like preserving the games and having all that.
Let more people play them.
Yeah, especially like if you're not gonna give Nintendo the money for it and stuff like that anyway. Like it's the whole "who's it hurting" argument. I do think it's interesting. There is a report that the Wii copy of Super Mario Brothers, was actually a ROM that was downloaded from a ROM site, and they just put that up on the Wii.
Yeah.
And they went through it, and basically the short explanation of it is there's two like chips in the actual carts, and there's a code that they use to however it works that kind of tells the ROM that, hey, you need to use like both these chips together, et cetera, et cetera. But you don't need that when you have the actual code. And the one that they put up on the Wii had that coding, and not only that, the coding was exactly the same as the coding from the ROM websites. And they're like, did Nintendo just download this ROM and then put it on the Wii and sell it? And they haven't confirmed that that's what they did, but it is very unlikely that they just happen to have the same exact code with the same like line of code.
The same layout and
needed,
everything.
yeah. So it's interesting. So like it's possible that without somebody doing that, we just wouldn't have the Virtual Console Mario Brothers, because I don't know.
Maybe they'd never put the effort into doing it.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting for preservation of the games and everything like that. Next up, news I'm excited for, and I thought you would be excited for, but you shut me down real quick. Nickelodeon Kart has been announced, and it is coming October 23rd. So this is SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick, Sandy, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We have Hey Arnold. We have the Rugrats, including Reptar, which is pretty sweet. And they're all going to be in a kart racing game, racing on tracks inspired by those same shows. And they say it's going to be 12 shows total. So we know 4 of the 12 shows. I think this is neat. Now, assuming that the kart racing is good, because it could just be garbage.
It could just be awful.
And this is a game that I will not pre-order. I'll wait to see
how it does.
If it is at least good, and then
like
maybe
your kart falls through every level. Like what? Huh?
But also that Sonic racing game's coming out as well, and I'm way more interested in that because I actually really like
Probably
the
a
last
good game.
Sonic racing game. They're both $40 games though. But with that said, I'm actually interested in this. I love crossover games. It's by the same people that did the Cartoon Network like Super Smash Brothers ripoff game, and that game wasn't great. So it's not like I have a lot of faith in this. But
enough.
how's your Nickelodeon knowledge? Your like 90s Nickelodeon knowledge?
I mean, that's when we grew
fine.
up, so
Pretty good.
Yeah.
So my question is,
That's
what shows? There's 8 shows that haven't been announced.
the
What do you
first-
think they're?
The first thing that came to my mind was Our Real
Yeah.
Monsters.
that's what I was just thinking too.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
I just immediately thought of the guy holding his own eyeballs driving a car. Like, I'm okay with-
I have a plushie of him. And
Really?
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
He has Velcro eyebrows, and he's just got like hairs for his armpit hair, and what a weird.
It was a
what
weird
a
show.
weird time. Some that I put down. I have Kablam, which was a show I liked. They had the Action League now, I think, which was like a Justice League parody on it. They had the Claymation people. It was like a comedy skit show. And I enjoyed that one. I have Cat Dog. I would really like Cat Dog.
I'm okay with that.
As a driving character, and Rocco's Modern Life and Ren and Stimpy were the other 2 that I...
Rocco.
Angry
I thought
Beavers.
Ooh, I'd be down
Yeah.
for Daggett.
That show was great.
I'd be down for that.
It was on Netflix.
Oh, really?
It used to be. I don't know if it's still.
I mean, I've watched those shows. Like,
Wasn't there another show where it's like a white family traveling like the Sahara or something like that? Like a
the Wild Thornberries?
yeah, that one.
Oh,
Nigel
I
Thornberry.
just
That would
I
be
just want the
really
dad
good.
with the big
No,
nose and
Nigel
mustache.
Thornberry, yeah.
that would be really good.
He
yeah.
looks. Wait a minute.
You shut up.
Okay.
Anyway, I think this is cool, assuming that the game isn't complete trash.
Isn't awful.
I'm totally down for a Nickelodeon.
Yeah, because they even had like a certain car they always
I mean,
would be perfect.
yeah. When you asked, I was like, I'm not buying it, but I mean, if you buy it, I'll play it.
But when Kevin buys it,
Deal.
we'll play it.
It's a deal, assuming it's not terrible. Next up, in our final little piece of news here, is Fortnite killing other video games. So this is a
like with a knife, or
yes, with a fork and a knife. So this is something that's popped up recently as the sales numbers and things for Fortnite and video game industry kind of year over year profits have been revealed and talked about, as well as looking at things like Twitch and how many people watch it and how many people aren't watching other things anymore. So it says there exists a considerable overlap between consumer profiles of Fortnite players and other games people are playing, such as League of Legends, Counter-Strike, and Overwatch. So basically saying a lot of those people are the same audience. And he says that League of Legends viewing is down 19%, Counter-Strike is down 51%, and Overwatch is down 16%. They also add that gaming revenue as a whole is up 46% this year from last year.
Jeez.
If you remove Fortnite, it is down 6%.
Well,
So Fortnite is like 52%.
is a huge juggernaut of death.
Of all the video game revenue, which is absolutely
That's
crazy.
insane.
And then it goes on to talk about how natural reaction to that to the big companies, which is like Activision and Blizzard, is Call of Duty now has a battle royale mode. Like they're going to just try and copy
They'll
it,
just emulate it. Yeah.
steal a piece of that pie, basically. What do we think about this? I definitely agree. I mean, as somebody who actually plays Fortnite, like I find myself playing Fortnite over other things, even when I don't want to. I'm just like,
I got to do my daily.
Welcome to video game addiction.
Well, the whole thing is like, I could
This
play.
is actually an intervention for you.
I could play Octopath, right?
Yeah.
And
Or
should,
I could play one round of Fortnite,
which
and there's
turns
a
into
chance.
5 rounds of Fortnite.
There's a chance I win that one round.
Yeah.
But there's also a chance I'm gonna have to play 10 rounds before I win that one round. You know what I mean? And that's just how it gets you. Like these really well paced. Like I'm usually not the biggest fan of things that like I like the Splatoon model. It's 3-minute matches. You don't feel horrible if you lost because you're going back in right away. If you won, you feel good, but you're ready to win again, so you go back in. And Fortnite is one of the only games that I played that like it is a 20-minute match and I get third, and I'm just like, I'm doing it again. Like I gotta hop right back in. But my thing is, I don't think I spend money on Fortnite that I would have spent on other games. Like that is where,
Me either.
Yeah, well, that is where I'm like. Not sure if that's true, but then every single person I play with on Fortnite, for the most part, has hundreds of dollars worth of skins. Like I'll ask them, I'm like, hey, you want to like get this one game? It's $20 and we can play it together. And they're like, nah. And then I log into Fortnite that night and they bought $45 worth of skins. And I'm just like, you could have bought, okay, whatever.
I bought this game twice. And,
So I guess so. I guess it is. It's just not with me personally. But that is a juggernaut of a
thing.
amount. They're up to I think 8.5 billion.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. I think Blizzard's at 7 something. So they're up there with Blizzard and
Well played.
Yeah.
And it's not like Epic was a small name before.
No, I mean it wasn't a small name, but it was like a behind the scenes name.
Yeah.
Like it was a big name during like Gears, Unreal, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then it kind of faded into the
Teetered,
background, and it was the engine that was the big deal. And then now, just randomly, they're not
back.
randomly, but yeah, they're
like,
back.
by the way, we made this thing.
And the one thing that was pointed out to me is that the announcement of Fortnite was actually Cliff Bleszinski announcing the game.
Yeah.
When he was back at Epic, and I think that is slightly like tragic, but also slightly funny. That he was the one that ended up announcing the game, and then
That killed
his last
studio.
game was just a copy of that particular game. But yeah, Fortnite, killing it.
As far as that
Another
tragic
thing.
story goes, I was just always thinking about like this time last year when we were like PUBG calling a lot of attention over to Fortnite. It's like, here we go.
Yeah,
and even
that
then,
was
it was just like, why
not
would you
good.
do this? And then now it's just like, why did you do that? So.
Yeah, I would love the crystal ball to look in the world where PUBG just doesn't acknowledge Fortnite as a thing ever. Because, I mean, that's the reason I downloaded it, was I was like, I heard about this.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll download it for free and check it out. And yeah, everybody's making all these Battle Royale games and stuff. I do want to say, we did a segment maybe a couple months ago where we were talking about like Game of the Generation. I would like to change mine to Fortnite as my.
That's fair.
My choice. I think I picked Destiny before. I'd like to switch it to Fortnite.
I have no idea what I chose.
You chose The Witcher. You picked Witcher 3.
Oh, I said it because I was like, I hope this is the game of the generation.
And I think Todd picked Overwatch.
Okay.
I believe.
That sounds more correct.
Sounds like Todd.
But I would like to switch to Fortnite as my official.
Oh, for the right answer? Yeah.
That's completely fair.
That's my official choice.
I choose PUBG.
It kind of started it. So, I mean, there's an argument
We're
to be
not
had.
getting into the
They
armor
allowed
mod
it to happen.
Next up, let's move into a comment from last week, which is also a question.
Two
From
for
Zach
one.
Yoder, I have a question for you guys. When do you think the new consoles will launch, and what, if any, features will they have? I'm mainly referring to the next PlayStation and Xbox. I heard people say a modular console could be the way to go, and as a PC gamer, it would be fine for me, but I could see it being intimidating for a lot of people. I think eventually we will probably get to the point where we have a base console that comes out and we buy upgraded graphics cards and peripherals every 2 years or so instead of releasing a new console every 5 to 10 years. So what do we think? I'm also going to throw Nintendo in there because I actually think Nintendo's really interesting. What do we think? First, let's do launch. When do we think these PlayStation, Xbox consoles will launch?
2021, 2020.
I think it's 2020 as well. I think we see them next year.
Like late 20. They show next year and they come out.
I wouldn't be
holiday
surprised
2020.
if Xbox launches in March of 2020.
Just to get,
Well, they probably want to get out ahead.
They absolutely
They probably need to get out of it.
want to get out ahead. Yeah, so I think we see them soon, even though in particular Microsoft's already talked about it. It's called the Scarlet, and it is apparently more than one console. It is multiple things.
It's like a console family kind of thing.
Yeah, that's actually I think what they use. I think it's like a family. And then PlayStation, I believe, said that there's stuff in the works, but they don't want to talk about it because their console's selling like crazy, and they just
why risk it?
they don't want to distract people from the fact that their console's
The
selling
PS4 is awesome.
selling great. So what does this console do? Like
Plays video games.
what does it do that the consoles we have right now don't do? Because that's where I am a little lost. You can 4K the graphics, but like 4K TVs still aren't the standard, you know? So I think that's a weird route to go so soon. I think that's
Maybe they will be the standard by 2020.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, though.
I think you underestimate how like fast technology improves, though. By 2020, we'll have 8K, I would imagine.
8K existed a couple years ago.
I was going to say, I've seen 8K, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So I think 8K will be the new 4K. 4K will be the new
1080p.
1080p. So
See, I don't think we're going that fast.
I don't think so either. Like, I don't think that 4K is going to be the majority of the market share by that time.
It definitely won't be the
not
majority.
especially-
majority, no.
Yeah, but I mean that's what matters.
1080p
That's what you
is
wanna
probably just
cater
now the
to.
majority.
I mean, no, but yes, it did take a really long time for it to become. And like you think about like these curved TVs and HDR, like a lot of people don't have any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like they don't care for stuff. The average person does not care.
Man, HDR is
Well,
awesome,
yeah,
by
it's.
the way.
I don't think it's.
Good God.
It's like a lack of interest. It's just the money, and obviously these
Right.
things drop
It's
a couple
just
hundred each
Some
year.
people just
so-
aren't interested in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. So I think it will be 4K, obviously, but
Yeah.
I don't think that's
that'll be
enough.
their base.
I
That'll
don't
be the
think that's
baseline,
enough
sure.
to sell the console on the back of.
Correct.
Like this is what I'm asking. What do you sell the console on the back of? So the Switch, the portability aspect is something you can
The fact that it'll do both.
you can put it on. You think it'll be portable? Is that what you're asking? Or
No, the fact that the Switch can do both.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
is one of their big selling points.
Exactly. So like what I just can't fathom right now what it could do. Now Zach brings up the fact that you can make it so that it upgrades itself. I think there is a 0% chance that happens. I think that the Pro and I think Microsoft and Sony both thought about that, and they both came to the same conclusion of the Pro and the X. And I think that's what we'll see moving forward. I think they might just be more open about it. Like when they announce these consoles, they're like, by the way, every few years we're going to put out one that's slightly better.
We'll go up another half step
I
every
kind of
3
see
years.
what he was saying, maybe not to the degree because he
I
was
see what
talking
he's
about
saying, for
graphics
sure. I
cards
just
and
don't
stuff.
think it'll
Like
happen.
I can understand like just making like a skeleton unit and saying, "Oh, are you the Xbox Pro type? We'll buy this, insert it, like snap insert, not
like the old school
take it
360 hard drives, like snaps on.
So something
Sure.
easy, just slap it on there, and all of a sudden you have the awesome version. Oh, 2 years later, we made this graphics card and we made the storage quadruple the size. take this one off with
Snap
a
it
press
on.
of a button and snap it on, and it'll work seamlessly. Or warranty.
It'll update.
Send it back.
But do you think that's going to happen? Because I don't. I just think that is. I think that the Pro and the X were confusing to people, let alone having everything be,
because people
able
who aren't like somebody buying it for their kids not going to know what that means or does.
Yeah, I saw somebody was buying a PlayStation 4 and they were struggling because they had a 1 terabyte version and a 500 gigabyte version. They were like having a mental breakdown in the store.
Some people don't know
about what
a lot of
to
computer
get.
terms like that.
Yeah, like I just don't think that would be a good choice, and I think that they both know that. To me, I guess this is my pitch for what the I'll do them separately. Sony is the PlayStation 5. It comes with PlayStation VR capabilities built in with no breakout box like PlayStation VR has.
Yep.
And it heavily focuses, not heavily focuses, but it heavily accepts VR as a
It becomes more of a standard thing.
in its production. It does its 4K stuff and everything, but VR is kind of its big spin-off. It also is completely backwards compatible with PS4 games and maybe PlayStation 3 games, but I doubt it. But I wouldn't be surprised to see PS1 and PS2 games backwards compatible. I think PS3 is a side thing that is a little strange, and I think that's why PlayStation Now is a big deal for them, because it's their way to get that. I also think streaming is huge on both consoles, and that is their big push, is that 1080p streaming of games.
I was going to say, I think Sony needs to stick to the virtual, so VR and stuff like that, build it into the system. Obviously, like, it might turn into the Kinect for them, but like even sell the headset with most versions, just not make
Sell
it
it like at
150.
launch.
That's the standard bundle comes
Like
with the VR.
force it into people's hands, basically, and then they'll sit there and go, "This thing's been in the plastic for a few months, and this thing says VR. Screw it, I'll just try it." And when you don't have to go, plug this into here, and spend like 30 minutes hooking it up, like you would, and then have that like long tentacle like wires hanging off of you, and you have all that. If it's just very simple, wireless almost, maybe they have that technology and it's not $1 billion. But like, just simplify it, build it into the system and force it into their hands. And then maybe some people like the Kinect will use it. And then I was going to say Microsoft needs to focus on, like, they are big into their, not streaming, but just like media platform and just go heavy into that and just do it that way.
So let's stick PlayStation for right now. We'll do PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo really quick. So yeah, you agree that VR. I would hope, but I don't think it will. I would hope that it accepts the old headsets as a standard at launch.
A way to use the box, and
because then they can drop the price of the headsets. They're down to $200 for just the headset. Like if you could drop that to 100, 150, that would be a huge thing. Where at launch we have these VR games and the headset's only another $100 or something. I think that would be very big, but I think that Sony backwards compatibility and VR is going to be their temple.
But like literally every game needs to have it, whether it's just you can view it in theater mode, but it's got like a little bit of a twist to it. Maybe it looks cooler or something like that. Or maybe they just have a chapter or like a side thing from the menu that you can go into VR, but like force it into every game. I don't know if I like not third party.
Support the
game.
crap out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, not every first party game.
Yeah.
Okay, that I think.
And like I said, don't make it gimmicky where it's just like now you're playing in first person VR in a game that it doesn't fit, but just have something, whether it's
now you are the quarterback.
Please just go talk to Bethesda about whatever they did to Skyrim.
I was
put that in every PS3 game and then resell it to me.
Well, yeah, that's
redo
true.
it.
I was gonna say, like,
Kevin.
I don't know, for like Last of Us or something. Like maybe you're not playing the game, but there's a mode where you can go in and view the room or like a cool area,
an exploration.
Like maybe even developers are just like, so I put this over here in the corner because I thought it would look cool. Like just, it's almost like a director's cut.
You can go pick up this thing and play with it in VR.
So that would be a cool way to like communicate with fans, other than just like I need to go read his Twitter or something to see why he did this thing in the game. But that would be cool to have like a
developer's commentary.
Yeah.
That would be really cool, actually.
But like even if games,
that's a really good idea.
Even if games didn't want
They
to
have to be
implement
new
it,
photo mode.
VR mode.
That's cool.
If they didn't want to implement it and like, okay, I want to make this game VR now. Like if they just had something like that, because then you would read credits, or like if the creative design guy who his name's something you're never going to remember, but when he's talking to you, he's like, yeah, I thought about this and did it, and watch, this is how it happened in the game. You're like, okay, I like this guy now.
I like that.
So who knows?
What about you, Kellen? What do you think for the PS5 or whatever they're going to call it?
I think they stick to their bread and butter and focus just on games. That won them this generation quite handily. So, like, you're getting an upgraded, just more powerful thing for a better price.
So you think it's almost like a Pro 2, but it has exclusive games too?
To a point. I think they will push VR more. I think they should push VR more. I think there should be a launch bundle that has, maybe not call it VR2, but an upgraded helmet.
Yeah.
It's maybe lighter or better. Just comes with everything you need out of the box. You have camera wand, everything.
Yep.
Just like, this is my VR system. But just more games. That's just what they need
heavy
to do.
game focus. Okay. So now let's move to the Xbox. We know it's some sort of family. What do we think that is? And I'll start. I think that they are super heavy into streaming and services. I think that they want to be like an Apple TV almost.
Yeah.
They'll probably have. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a small box that's an Xbox something that is literally like an Apple TV. It's like it plays some indie games and stuff. It won't play everything, but it also has our streaming service on it and, this on it and that on it. And then the real box, the big one, plays our new highest exclusive games, also has the streaming service, also has the Game Pass, also has this. And day one at Game Pass, day one at launch, Halo Infinite's here, and it is not a battle royale because that would be stupid, is the quote that they said in some interview.
That would be stupid. 100 Master Chiefs falling from the sky.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be, I think they're trying to go a more Apple route, I guess, is kind of my thought on it. They did buy all those studios, which is insane.
Yeah.
They're ramping up production. I don't think any of those will be, well, maybe one or two of them, but I don't think a lot of those will be ready with games for the launch of this thing.
For a couple of years.
I think that they are going to focus on maybe Gear 6 and maybe that Halo Infinite and then Fable possibly as like kind of launchy stuff. And then they're going to announce this is in the pipeline. Be excited. Like, we're excited.
Yeah.
You should be excited.
They're
These
just
guys are doing
going for big haymakers left and right instead of just like continuous jabs that Switch is almost to, but PlayStation is definitely on.
They're not working the body.
But yeah, I foresee them just being like, here's your package. And it's like, maybe this thing has all the storage on it. Maybe this one is just, the sort of like the box that you turn on and it has that's where everything communicates to, all the Bluetooth, all of the programs. Like, I feel like they want their own, like, they don't want you to have the Fire Stick or the whatever that people are watching. They want to have their own. Maybe they even like develop Microsoft programs on your computers. It's like, hey, you want to edit your video real easily before you put it on YouTube? Here you go. Here's Microsoft program. Webcam, all this, like make it like an actual just like media platform where someone who wants to be the next YouTuber or whatever can just like pick it up and there's their little studio. Obviously, that's not the every person version. I think that's more like a $600 or $700 version, I guess, if you're talking about all that. But I think they just stick to that, and yeah, just almost quarterly, I guess, just try and put out a big heavy maker, or like talk about one, but like haymaker, and maybe once or twice a year they really push one or two big games, and then everything else is third party, and all those other like 8 to 10 studios that they have, they're just testing stuff, kind of left and right.
How about you, Kellen? What do you think Xbox is going to do?
Microsoft's big push lately has been the cloud. I think they will lean towards services and not just cloud storage, but they do cloud processing. Mm-hmm. So their box could be...
Yeah, Crackdown's working real well with that.
It doesn't maybe not work great for Crackdown, but it's something that can work for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Like cloud computing is pretty big right now in the tech world. I think they're going to try and have a small footprint, just little box. It's like a disk drive, storage, and that's about it, and it does a lot of its work through the cloud. So they'll be all like extremely service based.
Yeah, that's really. What about VR? Do you guys think Microsoft dives into VR at all, or they avoid it?
I don't think they touch it. I think they set themselves up where they can do it, but they don't at launch.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
And there's obviously the one E3 where they use, I guess, the glass,
the HoloLens.
Yeah, whatever.
They kind of ditched that.
But yeah, I think that was
Probably
enough for them to be like, we can do it, but this. I'm sort of like him. Like, even though I mentioned all that stuff, maybe a webcam, maybe all this stuff, but like, yeah, not going super, super, super hardware because when they went super hardware with the 360, that's where you saw a lot of the red rings and the returns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So get away from all that because you don't need it anymore. And I think Microsoft, the company itself, maybe not the gaming division, but it's got enough fat there where they can spend money and try these different ideas like cloud computing, processing, storage, whatever.
I just picture them trying to... I feel like they're going after Apple and not Sony.
Like Xbox Live is more service.
That's really what I feel. Like, yeah, they're going to push their store as something that you can access on all these devices. They'll sell some $30 devices that just plug into the HDMI on your TV. Like, I really think
the Windows phone's coming back.
Oh God,
we back.
I really think that that's what they're going for. This like scalable thing that's on a bunch of stuff.
I brought my Xbox,
and then they will have their box that has exclusive games. So that sounds interesting. And then real quick, let's just talk about what Nintendo does, whether it is the Switch Pro or the Switch X or if the Switch 2. What do we think they do? Because I think Nintendo's in trouble.
I think they just put out more Labo and they're good to go.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, so I think Nintendo's in trouble. They're in a weird spot because right now their console is underpowered, obviously.
Yeah.
And people are struggling to put their games on it. Wolfenstein just launched, which is really cool. Doom's on there, whatever. But when we make that next jump, the Switch is going to feel so obsolete, I feel like. And they could upgrade their hardware, maybe get it to that like PS4 level, but I don't think it's fathomable to make it.
The battery will last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think it's fathomable to make it as good as what the next things are going to be. It's just not going to be easy to port to, like to downscale all that stuff to that level. So what do you guys think the Nintendo does here? What's
they
their
crank
moves?
out some more Octopath, I guess.
I think they'll just hang out with the Switch for a while, which is probably not the best idea.
Do you
I think that's what they'll do, though.
What do you think about like the Switch obviously selling very well? How do you think it's going to sell when somebody announces the Xbox One 2 or the PS5? Like, do you think that it's still going to do okay? Because you think if they're just going to double down on
with here's
handheld?
Mario. And
Yeah, they'll respond with, oh, here's the Metroid Prime that we were talking
here's
about.
Odyssey too.
here's Metroid. Here's
So you
Mario.
think they're just going to do kind of what they did with the Wii U, but they have an install base?
I really just don't think Nintendo, like the boardrooms,
they do their own thing,
the top
man.
brass there. I just don't think they care about what Sony and Microsoft do.
Yeah, they're
maybe
in the one-horse race.
Maybe they kind of change the way they present some things, or maybe they just go do their directs and just say, screw it, who cares?
Like, here's Pokemon.
Like maybe if someone strikes a chord and then, maybe, okay, we'll try that, but in the Nintendo way, the Japan way.
The Labo way.
I don't think they sit there and read the Twitters of all the CEOs or, watch the briefings or really even care. I think they just kind of on their own plane and they're just going to keep doing their own thing. And there's always going to be a market for like, I don't really care about 8K, but there's this cute, cuddly little character, or here's the same fat guy plumber who saves the princess.
Or here's
Oh wow!
Here's some.
That's what I think.
Pretty aggressive.
Some squid characters that are definitely kid friendly.
Yeah.
Are they?
I would have liked them as a kid.
I'm not sure what
Depends on
their
the kid, I guess.
target demographic is. For
But
that.
I think they're just going to do their own thing and not care.
I think Nintendo
will
does
Nintendo.
always do that. Yeah, I just think that they're going to be in a spot where their hand is forced. They're going to have to do something, whether it's an upgraded Switch or what have you.
Well, last time their graphics competed with everyone else's was GameCube, and I thought that was a really sweet system. After years after, we're
Still
like
sold less,
GameCube. We don't really know, and then we do like the top GameCube list, and we're like, wow, this thing was like packed full of greatness. So it's just going to be one of those situations where if they do start to pay attention to other people, then it's going to be the GameCube or like the Wii U. Maybe that game, I guess, tried to look visually appealing, but
I guess
sometimes.
So. Yeah, that was a weird one.
Or here's an idea. What if they come out with an upgraded dock? The Switch itself doesn't change, but you get an upgraded dock.
Ooh.
Then when you dock, you get more juice.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that because I was just thinking they'd sell just the screen.
Yeah.
And you use your same Joy-Cons and your same dock.
Yeah, everything.
Switch up the dock. That's interesting. I like that.
Just a better dock that does full 4K support or something.
But in typical Nintendo fashion, it's this big.
It's like, what'd you put in that thing?
You actually put it in a car engine.
It's got a pull start. It's starting a weed eater. It'd be awesome.
So, what do you guys think about the next, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Scarlet, as it's been called, and the Switch 2, or whatever Nintendo? Maybe Nintendo doesn't even stick with the Switch. Maybe they go some other route, though. I don't. See
I think
that
it's got a long
coming. Yeah,
life.
I just think that they're gonna be like, this is a handheld now, and not a docked console. Deal with it, because their handhelds always sell well.
Or buy our new dock.
Underpowered for sure. But what do you guys think about it? And if you have any questions for the show, please leave them down below in the comments, and we will get to them on a future episode. With that said, let's move into the releases and then get out of here. So, nothing too crazy this week. One or two things that I'm interested in, but we have Code Princess EX coming to the Switch July 31st. We have Titan Quest coming to the Switch July 31st. We have Chasm coming to the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC July 31st. We have Yakuza 0 coming to the PC August 1st. We have Iconoclast coming to the Switch August 2nd. We have Salt and Sanctuary coming to the Switch August 2nd.
Buy it.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one. And then we have WarioWare Gold, which is a game I very much want to play, coming to the 3DS. Never mind. August 3rd. I've actually heard that the game's really sweet, but I can't do it. Going back to the 3DS is just the worst thing in the world. I don't know if you've...
I really love the 3DS.
Oh, yeah.
Really? Have you gone back to it after playing Switch?
It's still wonderful.
It's not good. Though I did just get a PSP the other week, so I don't know if I'm one to talk.
What are you going to do with that thing?
So there's wires you can buy for a PSP, so you can plug it into a TV and just play it on the TV. And there's a handful of PSP games I've just been wanting to play that I haven't played. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to watch some sweet UMDs. The Universal Media Discs.
That's the best idea I've ever heard.
Oh my gosh, what a great idea. Let's put a spinning disc in something portable. That'll work really well and won't
What's
cause
the problem?
problems. No, yeah. That is it for this episode
Spinning
of the
disc don't
Press
like
X
to turn.
podcast. Thank you for being here, Kellen.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here, Nick.
Much cooler this week.
It very much was.
'Cause
And
I'm
thank
here.
you so much for watching. We will speak with you next time.